Welcome to the Local Marketing Source Weekly Update, brought to you by localmarketingsource.com. This update is taken from the Local Marketing Source Professional Development Program for local marketers.
This week's Local Marketing Update is brought to you by Scott Gallagher. Scott is the co-founder of Local Marketing Source and has become the recognized expert in providing online marketing services to local businesses. Follow Scott on Twitter @ScottGallagher5 and on Facebook.com/Scott P. Gallagher.
Hey, well, good afternoon, everyone. Scott Gallagher here with Local Marketing Source, bringing you our weekly local marketing industry update. Now, this is our update number 49 on Wednesday, April 3rd, 2013, and next week's faculty call, LMS member call, is going to be April 10th at 4 p.m. Eastern. Now, the LMS membership, as you know, provides access to hundreds of different training videos for local internet marketers or marketing specialists, as well as local business owners, training as well as a community. Now, this week's update, we've got a good aspects and different items that we're going to be updating, but big changes in Google Places and their dashboard and what's going on with that. So we're going to take a look and talk a little bit about that. And 2 days ago was April Fool's Day. If you go back 10 years, Google played a little joke, and now it seems to be the big tech sector that April Fool's is a big day, and they like to play these jokes. And so we'll talk a little bit about that. A new tool that's out there gives us some really good statistics on SEO data, and a nice free tool. And finally, Google's final words on buying links and competitive espionage. No, not competitive espionage. I guess corruption, competitive corruption. All right, and just a quick little overview of this week's tips. Well, last week we talked about videos, and I outlined 5 different videos that were important and talked about how to put together video number 1 being a testimonial video. This week we're going to talk about video number 2 and create a walkthrough video. And the local internet marketing tip, last week we talked about client expectations with under promise and over deliver, and this week we're going to have an extension of our monthly webinar that we just had a couple of hours ago, and that's breaking bad habits with a friend of mine that shares the same name as me, Scott Gallagher. And finally, what's going on inside the LMS member Facebook group? Tish keeps posting good stuff. Some recent changes that Search Engine Journal has discussed and whatnot, as well as some links on this dashboard. Now, this week's local business tip, video number 2, a video walkthrough. Well, first off, we know the importance of video. We know that every local business should have some sort of video of some way, somehow in their profiles online, and a walkthrough video is something that's rather simple. Why would you want this? Well, number one, familiarity. When somebody's looking for a particular business and you have a walkthrough of your office and whatnot, and then somebody sees it, and then they come into it, they already feel that much more comfortable. It's going to be a better business transaction, and it's also more likely to convert when somebody can see an aspect whether or not they want to do business with that place. The second aspect, creating a walkthrough video along with familiarity, it also establishes a ground frame as to what type of business you operate and what type of practices you engage in. And you could take 2 different businesses, McDonald's and Burger King, and they've got different types of environments inside. They cater specifically or different ways. You know, one's got the playhouse, and the other one really deals with a lot of movies and Hollywood and whatnot. And so a video walkthrough is going to allow us to do this. Now, to create a video walkthrough, it's really easy. You just need a video camera and a computer. And there's a couple of little tricks. You don't really want to have much business operation going on or anything like that, but essentially you're just going to walk the camera through the office, put it into some video editing software, and then speed it up by about 10 times. or 1,000%. And one thing that when you speed stuff up, like if you're taking your video and you're walking and you're making it go up and down by an inch or two, when you speed that up, it's going to be going up and down like this and be very, very jerky. So maybe if you don't have a roller for your camera, you know, think of some way that you can roll that camera through the office. Just make sure it sits on a pillow or something and it's not actually shaking when you're rolling it. Put it together, drop your logo into it, add a little background music, and you now have a walkthrough video. You've got a nice 2-minute piece of content. All right, getting into our weekly update now. And for the update, well, Google has upgraded its Google Places dashboard with Google Plus local integration. Finally. Well, it is what it is. It's going to have its quirks. There's going to be some problems that we're going to find with it and whatnot. But at the end of the day, this is a big change. This is what we've been looking for, and we're happy to be able to have this. It gives you a new look and a little bit of a new design, so there's going to be a learning curve involved. You'll want to take a look. Fortunately, it's following a lot of what Google Plus looks like, and there's standardization for that. There are different separate tabs for managing different information listings, managing AdWords Express and different offers. It's a good business center for a local business. Now, what's different is the custom categories. I guess Google's more of just streamlining a lot of local businesses in a particular range, so you've got limited range of categories. It's going to leave a lot of businesses without any adequate choices or anything of that. April Fool's, a good time for the tech sector, and Google had some fun ones out there. They had what, Google Blue, Google Knows. One of their better ones was YouTube was going to shut down, and YouTube was actually just a big joke. It was one big an 8-year project on collecting the best videos of the internet, and the videos are no longer available. But one of the better ones comes out from Bing. And Bing actually, you know, the one thing about these April Fool's jokes is they get some free PR, which is beautiful about it. But at the same time, Bing took a big knock on Google, and or slam in a certain sense, and they said, you know, Bing has gone back to historic times, 1997, you know, the good old dial-up days when things were really simple and we didn't have the technology that we have now. And then their homepage looks exactly like Google's, with Bing written out in the colors and a very, very simple page. In other words, it's trying to demonstrate that Bing has evolved as a search engine and a company like Google hasn't. There are other joke, just it does affect the SEO community. Anybody that's ever heard of SEO tags, that's an April Fool joke. Don't start SEO on your website by adding SEO tags to set your position, and especially above competitors. So, new tool. Big Web Stats, one word, bigwebstats.com. It gives website statistical data and SEO data and analysis. It's pretty awesome. It gives you a score. It looks at a lot of different tools. It looks at your H tag count. It looks at a snapshot of index pages from Google, Yahoo, Bing. It gives you a whole backlink history, which is really cool, and that's pulled from Majestic SEO. So I'm really pleased to see about a backlink history. Other data sources include that it grabs information from is similar sites, Whois, Social Buzz, Alexa. But it's a free tool. So go and check this out. That is called bigwebstats.com. And finally, Google's word on buying links. Does it actually hurt you? Or what happens if somebody goes out and buys links and fires it to my site? Is my site going to be affected? Matt Cutts, head of web spam over at Google, says no. In short, nothing really happens. There's 3 points that he wants to point out here. The link seller's website should notice a toolbar page rank downgrade of 30 to 50%. So if you are selling links and you are these people, your page rank is probably going to be penalized by about 50%. The link seller's website loses the ability to set page rank going forward. So anytime that they link to another website, and if they're selling links, they're not able to pass any page rank at all. So there's no benefit at all to any links that are being sold. And number 3, the links pointing to your website from the link seller's website are no longer counted and no longer benefit your website. Well, they're not passing page rank. So what about link buying penalties? Well, Matt didn't discuss this. It doesn't mean that Google's not going to dish out penalties for somebody who goes out and buys links. So there you have it. Now, the local internet marketing agency tip. We had a webinar. It was a public LMS webinar this afternoon. It went on for about 75 minutes. One day I Googled my own name, Scott Gallagher, and I came up with another gentleman by the name of Scott Gallagher that lived in the same city that I lived in at one time, Toronto. Well, I started to follow him. Anyhow, Scott and I have become friends. Scott is a master habit breaker. Whether it's habits in our personal life or our business life, he's there to be able to help. He's personally helped me in many different ways, and we talk quite a bit, and he pulls out some really good points. And while you should definitely listen to it and go through it, some of those points that we talk about is, and again, from this webinar, I've implemented it immediately effective today. That's it, period, point blank. No negative electronic communication. I'm not going to bitch to my girlfriend over typing. I am not going to complain to a customer or an employee or a friend. I am not going to go post, not that I ever did, but I'm not going to go and post negative comments, negative energy on anything electronic. Period. There's so many different aspects to that, and so many negative implications, and we talk about those during the webinar. Number 2 is our physiology, and we talk about different tips of our physiology and the importance of our physiology and how we have certain habits of our physiology that we don't know. And as I'm thinking about this and talking about it right now, I had a friend over last night, and my girlfriend and I were sitting down with him and just having a conversation, and he's staring off into space and she's talking to him. And he's listening, but he turns and, you know, nods and then turns back. Just kept looking away. Well, I realized, holy cow, I do this. And how it looked like from a third party. My physiology. So it's an important thing. Work harder on self than your business. And what you should do to be able to do some of this stuff. And who do you know to be able to go position yourself. And that leads us to number 4 of joining new communities. And what are some of these communities, and where to find them, and how they affect it, and ultimately how does it affect your bad habits and breaking those habits. So on that note, that comes to the conclusion of this week's update. We did fly through it. It's a little bit short. Sometimes it's nice to get a fast, powerful impact of information, but it makes up for last week because we had a very lengthy call and covered, I don't know, 13, 14 different items of updates and very long tips. And yeah. So let's move on to some LMS interaction with members.